I think we need to have a Howie Roseman appreciation day today. Appreciate the work that Howie Roseman's done again to build another Super Bowl contending team. We're going to talk about Howie Roseman's offseason and season to get us to this point, which is what, 9 days away from playing in the Super Bowl. Trending in the AM, we're live in 30 seconds.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 woo!
And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network, setting the trends for what sports talk should be in Philadelphia. Make sure you guys do me that favor, smash that like button and subscribe button, and please share it out. The race to 500 subscribers is on. Less than 100 to go. Let's see if we can have another great day and continue to build this great channel. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, found on all social media platforms at Bearded Knowledge, and we're back, guys. Good morning, Adam. Let's go, Birds. We are, 9 days away, 9 sleeps away from Super Bowl 59, and the Eagles appearing in their third Super Bowl in the last 8 years. And we occasionally discuss Howie Roseman and the good and the bad that this man has done throughout his career in Philadelphia. But I don't think we give enough credit to Howie Roseman to build 3 different Super Bowl teams in an 8-year stretch, and not just 3 similar teams, like 3 completely different teams. I think we need to spend today, since there hasn't been a practice yet, since next week will be all Eagles versus Chiefs specifically, I think today is a day to really just at least to start the show, to highlight what kind of an amazing offseason Howie Roseman had, specifically 4 and 5 day stretches that really shaped the future of this Philadelphia Eagles team. He had a 4-day stretch in March and a 5-day stretch in April. And that doesn't even count some of his other major moves. But in those 9 days, he literally laid the foundation of what is the team today that is playing for the Super Bowl title against the Kansas City Chiefs on February 9th in New Orleans. Good morning, Josh Allen's wasted career. I like the new name change. It is wasted because he was never good to begin with. I'm just kidding. Anthony, what's up? Washington Commanders Appreciation Show. They traded us the pick we used for Cooper DeJean, and they knocked. I love that. I love the way you phrase that. Because obviously, the Cooper DeJean trade is in this 9-day window I am talking about. Good morning, Big Al. Let's go. That's right. Let's go where? Where do you want to go? Fly? Eagles fly. Absolutely correct. In Howie we trust. So let me break it down for you. Let's start looking at it. Howie's off season, okay? There was a 4-day window between March 11th and March 14th. In those 4 days, he gave Landon Dickerson a 3-year extension, which was an amazing deal based off some of the other deals that were given out. Lovato and Mann, our punt team unit, our long snapper and punter, extended, whatever. He gave Saquon Barkley and Zach Bond deals in that 4-day window. Yeah, he gave Bryce Huff a contract, but whatever. And he gave Jake Elliott an extension, whatever. But he also signed C.J. Gardner-Johnson to a 3-year deal as well. And Devontae Parker, who then retired, and Matt Hennessy, who didn't play for the team this year. But in a 4-day window there, he gave it 4 extensions. He signed 6 players to the team. 3 of which, in Saquon, Bond, and Chauncey, were amazing. Big parts. That's just in the first 4-day window here that we're talking about. I was over Howie years ago, rightfully so, when they started drafting Devontae Smith and moved forward. I changed my opinion. Yeah, look, say what you will about Howie. I was at a point in my career, or my fandom in 20, that I was like, yeah, Howie's got to go. But the thing about Howie, Big Al, that I don't think he gets enough credit for is he sees the future. We always talk about how he, sees the, contracts. He gets the contracts done before the market hits for X player. Something like Landon Dickerson's extension or A.J. Brown's extension or Jalen Hurts' extension. He gets the deals done early, so he gets them at a discount. We always do that. But he also sees where the game is evolving. And he's the first to not care about linebackers and start caring about them. He's the first to start caring about running backs again this past year with the Saquon Barkley deal. He's the one that start bringing back, defensive tackles and stuff like that into the game. He sees the decline of James Bradbury and instantly pivots. He doesn't waste time. He's not afraid to take a $60 million cap hit on Carson Wentz and move on from him. He's not afraid to trade Hassan Reddick, your leading sack getter over the last how many years, and take a shot on a young kid like Nolan Smith. He sees so much, and it's great. Good morning to you as well, Anthony. Hope you are well today. Good morning, Rick. Howie Roseman, Executive of the Year again. I don't know. Has he actually ever won Executive of the Year? I'm not even sure how many times he's won it. But the fact that he's built 3 completely different and unique Super Bowl teams says something. Oh, absolutely. And this is not in the 9-day window that I'm talking about. But he brought in Vic Fangio. He brought in Kellen Moore. He gave Nick Sirianni the vote of confidence to keep him another year. I mean, it's something. Good morning, Little J. Big fan as well. Good, go Birds. Good morning, Duck. How are you? Brad Holmes won Executive of the Year this year. Oh, they already gave it out? I didn't think they gave out any of the year-end awards yet. I don't even know who Brad Holmes is, honestly. Off the top of my head, I don't know executives from many teams. Not really up on the GMs of every team. But we just went over the first 4-day window. Dickerson, Saquon, Zach Bond, Bryce Huff, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson were the keys in a 4-day window. And I'm not giving up on Bryce Huff yet. There's a chance Bryce Huff still could turn his career around here in Philly. Howie's year in the equipment closet was like a guru spending a decade in a cave in the mountains. Yeah. Look, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I always shout out Ed Kratz, SI.com, because he asked Howie, I think it was like in 2020, why don't you draft Alabama or Clemson guys or Georgia guys early? And since then, that's all he's done. But he's learned you don't need to reach for the J.J. Arcega-Whitesides of the world or the Jalen Regers of the world. You get the world-class talent early. Then you take your reaches later. That's what you do. So, yeah. Also, everyone's saying Vic Fangio and stuff like that. I want to give Howie Roseman another thing. Howie Roseman was banished to the equipment closet for a year. Okay? And he came out of it, and he did not hold Jeff Stoutland accountable for being a Chip Kelly guy. Because Chip Kelly was brought in Jeff Stoutland. He saw the talent in Jeff Stoutland and kept him here despite being a Chip Kelly guy. That takes something right there. If Howie Roseman was a spiteful guy, he would have cleaned house with everybody. But he kept that guy around. Howie's won 2 executive years, I believe. Okay. In 2022, we've got a couple people saying he won it in 2022. Gotcha. Brad Holmes is the Lions GM. Okay. And the Lions have built a really great team, especially considering all the injuries. I was always good with contracts. For a while, he was grabbing players past their prime or keeping guys longer than he should. He learned to evolve. And that's what makes Howie Roseman so special, how he evolves as an executive. He's still great at wheeling and dealing, making trades, getting those extensions done, kicking the can down the tire and finding ways to always, with all the extensions given out and contracts given out last offseason, we still have over $30 million in cap space this year. At this point, that's without any more extensions, or renegotiations of contracts. So just think about, he still got the $32 million. He gave a huge deal to AJ and Devontae and Landon Dickerson. He brought in Saquon, and he still got $30 million. We still got 7 draft picks in this upcoming draft. Howie won Executive of the Year in 17 and 22. Gotcha. 2 years that we were in the Super Bowl. There you go. He didn't win it this year, but he probably should have. Getting Zach Bond and getting Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and we're not even into the second 5-day window of this 9 game that I want to talk about. What would you say the turning point of Howie Roseman was when he finally got it right for drafting. The turning point, some would say, Adam, in my opinion, that they would say that it was the, being banished to the broom closet by Chip Kelly and whatnot. I don't know. I think the 2021 draft, when he finally drafted Devontae Smith, and was 2021 also Landon Dickerson, I believe. And he's like, oh, crap. Get these blue chip collar players early. They could step in and, we don't always have to draft projects in the first round. We don't always have to outsmart ourselves. Sometimes the best player is actually the best player on the board. So I really think that really changed him. How he saw Devontae Smith and Landon Dickerson step in pretty much immediately and make an instant impact. Because since then, he hasn't gone back to his old ways yet. At all. Signing Saquon Barkley might go down as the best free agent signing in Eagles history. We win a Super Bowl on February 9th, Rick, you very well may be correct. And look, I was against the idea of signing Barkley, not because I didn't think Barkley was great. I just was shocked at the money being spent by Howie Roseman on a position of running back. And there's another example of Howie Roseman evolving. There's a hell of a player in Saquon Barkley. Not just another great running back, like a generational player. And we could get him. And not just get him from our division rival. It could go down as that. It could. 20 to 21 when he started drafting from big schools. Again, give all the credit to Ed Kratz on that. I think, realizing drafting the big, and here's another thing. You can almost see the change in the tides in 2020's draft. Yeah, Jalen Reagor, he reached for and missed out on Justin Jefferson. That's fine. But we draft Justin Jefferson. We probably don't have Devontae and A.J. Brown right now. In the second round of that draft, he drafted Jalen Hurts, who was an Alabama and Oklahoma big school quarterback, a quarterback that had been on many winning teams, won national championships. And in 2020, he had to step in when Carson Wentz collapsed. And he didn't do much. He was, 1-3 in his 4 games. But then he was the heir apparent. He became the heir apparent. I think drafting Jalen Hurts might have been the turning point for Howie Roseman to an extent. Knowing that, oh, look, I just got a quarterback in the second round, but from big-time schools and programs, and he's ready to play right away. It was Devontae Smith for a turning point, absolutely. I think it was. Either Hurts or Devontae Smith, one or the other, was the turning point there. How big is dependent on what happens in a week and a few days. Exactly. Absolutely, Duck. It's kind of like bringing in Pete Rose or Moses Malone for the Sixers. Those guys that got a team over the hump from being championship contenders to champions. There's a difference between being the NFC champion and being the Super Bowl champion. A huge difference. And that's the difference in this part of the conversation. Howie realizing drafting big from SEC was a big turning point for Howie. Absolutely was. And you know what? I give him credit because what person in power sees that they've got pretty much, because Howie wasn't getting fired anytime soon. We're talking back in 2020. He's Jeffrey Lurie's right-hand man and will be till he says he doesn't want to do it anymore. And so he didn't really have any job insecurities. He was secure in his job. But he saw the errors of his ways and pivoted. How often do people in power with no chance of losing said power actually quit or change until it's too late? Howie Roseman saw the errors of his ways and changed before it was too late. I love the Barkley signing at $33 million, 3 years, great number. I think we can keep him house for another contract. Oh, we'll see about that. I don't know. I mean, he's 20. He started the year 26. He might be 27 now. Be pushing 30 when the contract's over. We'll see. I'm not really thinking 4 years into the future just yet on Saquon Barkley. But if Howie thinks it's the right deal, I'll have faith in Howie Roseman to make the right decision. My problem with the Saquon Barkley deal wasn't the Barkley talent. It was $30-some million, We didn't have a linebacker yet. I didn't think Zach Bond was going to be anything special. I mean, they were signed on the same day. You gave $30 million to Saquon and $1 million to Bond, and I'm sitting there like, we need a linebacker. We didn't have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson yet. I'm sitting there thinking, like, couldn't that money? We didn't have Quinion Mitchell or Cooper DeJean in house. I'm like, couldn't we upgrade the secondary a little bit? Couldn't we upgrade linebacker a little bit? Patrick Queen was sitting out there, and he didn't get a big deal. I think he got like a 3-year, $50 million deal, 3-year, $40 million deal, something like that. We all thought Patrick Queen was going to get like $90 million. He didn't get that. So I'm sitting there looking at the money, and I'm like, do we really want to spend that money on a running back when we've seen Swift and Sanders, two very average running backs, have all-pro years? I saw this stat yesterday, and this is a shout-out to Jamal Singleton, the Eagles running back coach. First time since the 60s that an NFL team has had 3 straight different all-pro running backs. Miles Sanders, DeAndre Swift, and Saquon Barkley. Hasn't happened since the 60s. 3 straight different all-pro running backs. So I'm just sitting there thinking that the reason why I wasn't high on the move was because of that. But it was a great move. Saquon might go as the best free agent signing for any Philadelphia sports team ever. Well, maybe. Philly's signing Pete Rose as the best free agent until Saquon Barkley wins us a Super Bowl, right? Because if you think about it, football will always win in Philadelphia over any other sport. So the signing that gets us our second football championship versus our first baseball championship will always trump out the majority of the fans. Obviously, I'm a baseball guy, but that's just the way it is, big picture. I find Hurts being brought in as a second-round backup and project quarterback was smart, but he didn't realize how weak Wentz was emotionally. But then he realized in 2020, Wentz was weak. And he's like, this second-round backup project quarterback might actually be pretty good. Might have a chance of being the future of this team. Let's go get him a wide receiver in Devontae Smith. Let's go get him a stud lineman like Landon Dickerson. And then the times start changing. I think Saquon move is the biggest win or lose. If they lose, it's not on Howie at that point. That's fair. And that's going to lead into tomorrow's question a little bit, okay? Just so you know, we'll get to that tomorrow. Howie's turning point is when Chip Kelly banned him to the broom closet. Howie snapped back in a major way after that. I mean, just think about that. In the last 8 years, we've gone to 3 Super Bowls. Was there any thought in the mind of Eagles Nation that when the Chip Kelly debacle happened, that this team would then follow that up, starting at, well, let's go 9 years, starting when it's the first initial start of the post-Chip Kelly era, when we signed Doug Peterson, that in a 9-year window, we'd have 3 Super Bowl appearances and a Super Bowl championship. Who would have thought that? Howie, seeing the importance right from the get-go of having a great backup quarterback at all times. You think about it. Carson Wentz goes down, you got a great backup in Nick Foles, you win a Super Bowl. Carson Wentz goes down, you got Jalen Hurts. Turns into Jalen Hurts. Since Jalen Hurts, we've seen Josh McCown, we've seen, Kenny Pickett, we've seen Marcus Mariota, we've seen Gardner Minshew, we've seen him prioritize the backup quarterback position. Think back as old Eagles fans. We didn't have real backups to Randall Cunningham or some of the other, Donovan McNabb. Well, we had Coy Detmer, but we didn't really have a real backup. Howie took that year to really become a football guy instead of a lawyer accountant who loves football. He may have been studying. Maybe he was reading some Inner Excellence. Phil, I never remember Barkley being this explosive, and that's fine. And I saw somebody making a comparison to Saquon to James Harden in his fat suit, because last year with the Giants, he didn't have that burst, but he always had the burst. The problem was he never had an offensive line or a winning team around him, and winning kind of gives you that added adrenaline as well. The fact that he's gaining almost double the amount of yards pre-contact than he did last year. I forget what the number was. He was getting hit at 1.5 yards after touching the ball last year. It's like 3 yards this year. Just think about that. He's getting a running start and not getting hit. And the lack of hits he's taking help keep him fresh. The last 4 drafts from Howie were off the chart great. Feels like we're one more solid draft away from setting something up super special. I was just curious. We got first, second, third, and fourth picks and a couple 5th-round picks next year. Plus, we got an extra third rounder in 2016 already. I'm not a draft expert, but Howie Roseman is always drafting and trading up in drafts, but he's also always accumulating more draft picks for coming years because he understands the importance of, if you're going to have a team of superstars, high-paid players, you've got the Hurts, the Smitties, the Browns making big money. You got to have young talent that's getting those rookie contracts. So the fact he sees the individual pieces of the puzzle, but he sees the big end goal, and he sees the future goals at the same time so well. My NY, what? I don't know. I thought you were going to get a good aging out of running back like Elliott, whom was super paid. I was IG baby. What? I hate spell check. Well, okay, gotcha. All I knew is Eagles needed a running back bad. Well, I mean, we could have kept DeAndre Swift. What did Swift sign for? Like 2 years, like $8 million? Like, it was a lot cheaper. And that money could have been used elsewhere. That's the only reason why I was against it. Not because I doubted him. Praise Howie, from whom all blessings flow. Praise him, all creatures here below. Praise Howie above the heavenly. Yeah. Look, I mean, let's get into the second. So went over, K1, a 4-day window in March where he signed Dickerson, Saquon, Bond, Chauncey. Great 4-day window from Howie Roseman, right? Well, let's get into the second 5-day window. In the second 5-day window, starting April 25th, which was the first round of the NFL draft, he gave A.J. Brown the big 3-year contract extension. And he picked Quinion Mitchell with the 22nd pick. Didn't outthink himself. April 26th, day 2 of the draft, he picked up Cooper DeJean by trading with Washington. He picked up Jalen Hunt. Then the next day, the 27th, he took more players in the draft, but picked up an extra 3rd, 4th, and 5th round pick for this upcoming year. And then on the 29th, the 5th day of this thing, he signed Mekhi Becton to a 1-year deal. A former first-round pick that had been cut. A prove-it deal. A guy to compete. And look what Mekhi Becton, you take raw talent like Mekhi Becton, you'll put him with the greatest offensive line coach of all time, Jeff Statland, and boom, Mekhi Becton's reborn. Just like Daredevil. And now, Mekhi Becton's going to get a huge contract this offseason, either to stay in Philly or somewhere else. So we just went over a 9-day window where he brought in 2 starters on 2 stars in the secondary, multiple starters on defense, multiple depth pieces on defense, locked up the offensive line and the wide receiver position long term, and brought in an elite running back, all in a 9-day window while still thinking about the future. Look at that. Just think about that. They had nothing at cornerback, and Howie completely fixed that. He fixed everything. He literally took every weakness from the team last year and made every weakness last year a positive this year. You think about it. Worst defense in the league last year, or second worst league, best defense in the league this year. Just think about that. Howie is no, he is not. He doesn't walk on water, Howie. He flies over the water. Barkley still had it. You could tell how he was running behind a below average O-line. Yeah. And still, you know, it's funny. There's a lot of Eagles fans 4 or 5 years ago. Fire Howie this, fire Howie that. Right? Yet somebody like the GM of the New York Giants gets rid of Barkley, and he still keeps his job. Just think about that. Howie is not just, but we appreciate our GM. Exactly. Our GM gets us to a Super Bowl. The Bills GM never gets them to a Super Bowl, just so you know. Hasn't since the early 90s. The line is what made the difference. Howie saw what they could do with guys like Swift. What if he had a general? Exactly. See, and that was in the back of my mind. But also I'm thinking, well, we could go pluck Kenny Gainwell off the second team, the second string team, and make him a starter, and he would be able to do it. We could go get Will Shipley and be fine. But when you can get a generational talent, you got to do it. And Howie saw that opportunity. Howie Roseman is the hot honey on a pepperoni pizza. Just not the extra hot honey, please. Remember when Carson Wentz bought all his O-line rifles? Why are rich millionaires killing out? Oh, well, Vista, you're all about the conspiracies. I have never had that. It doesn't sound great. The hot honey stuff is great, but we accidentally bought the extra hot last time, and it's so hot, it's inside. You can't use it. It's sitting in my fridge. I'll never touch it again. Howie Roseman is the Charlie Cox of Daredevils. That's right. What is Howie Roseman's alter ego vigilante persona title? Like, I could totally see Howie Roseman strapping on an outfit and going out in there and fighting crime in the city, in Gotham or in the Bronx. Oh no, well, the Bronx. Trying to think. Daredevil was Hell's Kitchen. That's right, in New York. I'm actually super hyped. I've never paid for Disney Plus, Dave's, but I will be signing up for it the day Daredevil comes out. I get the reference, Captain America. Yeah. Great point. Howie could have said any running back will be good behind this line, but he bucked convention and got. And now think about it. Howie Roseman has changed football. Well, him and the GM of the Ravens, because they both went out and got the two top running backs in the league who their teams let walk in Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. Now, this upcoming offseason, whoever the top running back free agent is, there's a chance he's going to get paid. If there's a contending team that doesn't have an elite running back, they're going to go pay big money to whoever the top free agent running back is, because Howie Roseman proved that running the football is still an effective way to win. I think he's Jewish. He doesn't believe in the Holy Trinity. I don't know. Hot honey on a pepperoni pizza is good. It is, except for when you get the extra hot. What's happening, Phil? Good morning. How are you, Steven Fuentes? We're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to the Super Bowl. Can Beanie shadow or intern with Howie? Oh, Bean. That's the GM. It's the gold standard. Okay? It's the gold standard on how to run a football organization. Any sports franchise. I really can't find any position in need to spam in the chat. You can't, because it's a complete team. A complete and total perfect team right now. It also says something about building a consistent competing that Barkley took a little less money to basically guarantee it. Absolutely. Absolutely agree with that. And I'm giving you this 9-day window. This doesn't count how he's seen the Hassan Reddick drama and getting rid of him for a third-round pick. This doesn't foresee him trading for Jahan Dotson or Kenny Pickett to make sure we have a good third running back, wide receiver, a good backup quarterback again. Hedging those draft picks. I mean, we just looked at that little 9-day window. But big picture, how he had not just a 9-day window offseason, he had an excellent offseason. We are making running backs great again. Howie Roseman is Jason Todd. Always considered the Robin of the Eagles franchise, but the guy that's not afraid to get his hands dirty and do what's necessary. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's the Robin to anybody's Batman, but yeah, I think he's Robin and Batman. Make running backs great again. He reminds me of another executive making something great. Oh my God, stop. Last year, we fixed it all. Where's Lori's flowers? He pays more upfront and guaranteed money. Absolutely agree. And if you noticed on the thumbnail of the picture, it's Howie Roseman's the big picture. And then the picture next to him is Jeffrey Lurie. Because Jeffrey Lurie is just as much to get praise for, but I don't even think it's the money aspect of Jeffrey Lurie that needs praising. It's the seeing big picture. It's being consistent and being confident in Jeffrey Lurie. A great executive foresees the future. Howie Roseman foresees, he makes the deals. But the owner, the CEO, has to give his direct, subordinates the ability to take chances and make mistakes without fear of losing their job immediately. Howie Roseman took a chance, gave a huge contract to Carson Wentz. It was a mistake. Jeffrey Lurie didn't instantly fire him. Jeffrey Lurie's like, fix it. And he did fix it. You got to give Jeffrey Lurie's flowers for being like, yo, Howie, or yo, Jeffrey, we got to write a $60 million check out to Carson Wentz, but he's out, and just to send him out of town. Jeffrey Lurie's like, you made a mistake. That's fine. We'll fix it. That's where I give Jeffrey Lurie the most credit. I don't fire every person in my pizza shop just when they make a mistake. I try to teach them. I try to make sure they get better, and I give them a second chance. That's what a good CEO does. 10 more days, Chet. Good morning. Great show last night. Caught the Domowitz part of the interview. Great stuff, and obviously Amy Fadul. The guys you want to see, Amy Fadul and Paul Domowitz, Damo. Last night, Chet, Philly Press Box Radio, right up there in the videos here on the channel, guys. Make sure you check it out. You're laughing hard, are you? Good. I'm glad. Reddick was rumored to be the locker room cancer that helped collapse the Eagles last year, but he was also the leading sack getter of this team for how many years? Sent him to the Jets, who were so bad. Reddick, begged to come back to Philly. Yeah, he made a mistake by letting Chauncey Gardner-Johnson leave. Brought him back. He saw Reddick potentially was the cancer, but also saw that he might hold out if he didn't get the money. I mean, when did Reddick even show up for the Jets? We're obviously not getting a second round pick. We're getting a third round because he didn't play enough. So he literally is not afraid to take chances. His risk reward calculations. He sees the value in these risks and he's willing to take them because he trusts his knowledge on these things and his experience. It's great. Now he has a completely different attitude. He does. Howie Roseman's attitude is just totally different. I also don't remember, like in 16, 17, pre-Chip Kelly, 17, 18 even. I don't remember the confident Howie Roseman high-fiving fans, jumping up and down. I kind of still, even up to like 2020, remember Howie Roseman more as a, insecure executive. I kind of feel like the last couple of years of success of this team has given him the confidence that he needs. Gives him the confidence to take these chances. Oh my, stop. Yeah, stop is right when you talk about somebody. When's huge swing and miss, and he fixed it. That's the whole point. Benny on at Pebble? No, not Benny on. Where's my note? I left my notebook at work. I really like Justin Thomas this week at Pebble Beach. I really like Patrick Cantlay this week as well. And in my DraftKings DFS lineups, everybody's staying away from him. In almost 60% of my lineups, Scotty Scheffler. Honestly, I should have taken all the bets I made, combined them, and bet them all just on Scotty Scheffler at 4-1. Because he's won 9 of the last 15 events he's played in. So why wouldn't you bet Scotty Scheffler? But we don't like that number, so we don't bet him. When does the Hurts contract really hit the cap? Not till after, I think it's either 2026 or after the 2026 season. But after the 2026 season, you could get out of the cap. You could get out of the contract or easily renegotiate it. So if he wins the Super Bowl in 9 days and then has another good to great year next year, then after next year, I think next year he's only like a $28 million cap hit, you can renegotiate it again and stretch that cap hit out even more. Jalen Hurts will never, ever have a Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow cap hit. Joe Burrow's cap hit this year was like $59 million. I think it's like $62 next year. He'll never have that because Howie will never let that happen. And that's, again, one of the things that makes Howie Roseman so special. And if he has to take a dead cap hit and move on from Jalen Hurts in 2 years, he'll know it and he'll do it because he's got the experience and knowledge to know how to do it. Howie had something to prove since the Super Bowl win. He doesn't need to. But I still didn't feel Howie was that way after the Super Bowl win in 17. Kind of feel like I kind of feel like 21-22, the Super Bowl loss is kind of when he started to validate himself. Lots of people make it to the Super Bowl once. Not many people make it twice, 3 times, and whatnot. So I think that second time validated himself. Mahomes is Superman and Hurts is Batman. Saquon is Hurts' kryptonite. I guess. If you think he had that bad of a year. Does he get credit for having the great Foles from Kansas City? Yeah, you got to give him credit for giving out great contracts to backups. You have to. 100%. To keep Hurts, you just extend. Yeah, you keep renegotiating the contract. That's basically what it is. Good morning, Bruce Bryce Harper. We are giving the flowers to Howie Roseman and, like K1 said, to Jeffrey Lurie as well. Or Marshawn said it. Jeffrey Lurie as well. Howie is genius. Howie's a very smart man. I wonder if Brandon Graham will play. I think that's a very interesting story. So let's go over it real quick. We'll get off the Howie Roseman subject just for a minute here. There was a practice report yesterday, but there was no practice yesterday. The Eagles will be practicing today, Friday, and Saturday. That'll be their big practices, full board practices, instilling game plan, et cetera, et cetera. They fly Sunday morning to New Orleans. They land around 3 o'clock. Casey doesn't get until about 4. Okay? So we'll know a little bit more about the game plan and Brandon Graham today and tomorrow. I find it hard to imagine that Brandon Graham will get in game shape to play after missing all this time. But could you imagine if he's if they have to activate him, what kind of boost that would give? I don't know. I mean, he was having a hell of a season before he got hurt. Could you imagine a way to walk off the field as Super Bowl champion for the second time and just ride off into the sunset? Darius Slay, too, might not want to play another year, like he said, if that's the case. Just imagine that. You got to love it, guys. You got to love it. But I find it hard to imagine that he gets cleared in time. That's just my opinion. DJ was saying that Hurts will use Barkley like Batman uses kryptonite. Oh, okay. I thought he was saying it's Hurts' stats kryptonite. 402. We gained another subscriber. We're at 402. 98 away from 500, guys. Please, let's see how many people are watching right now. There's 17 people in YouTube room. That means there should be 17 likes on this video. Hopefully more than 402 subscribers in a moment. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel and this video, guys. It means a lot. Everybody should hit that like button. That is what we want. That's what we need. In Buffalo, the players don't work with GM. Must be want money up front. See, I don't understand why. It's not like what Howie does is anything new. Howie's been managing the cap this way for a long time. And it's not like many other GMs have picked it up. Honestly, we always talk about the head coaches and their coaching tree. Kellen Moore probably going to stay in New Orleans after our Super Bowl victory as a new Saints coach. Our coaches get plucked. Teams coaches, Andy Reid's coaching tree, Bill Belichick's coaching tree. We talk about all these. Homegrown's coaching tree. But we never talk about Howie Roseman's GM tree. And everybody plucks Howie Roseman's executives and assistants to be their GM, and it doesn't work out for them most times, which is kind of crazy that all the guys learning from Howie can't do what Howie does. Bruce says, Phil, I get a feeling the Super Bowl again, and science sake, want to building to so many good teams, including this team, to get him into Canton. Howie Roseman into Canton. Wow. I honestly never thought of that. I'm going to write that down. That's a question I'm going to pose to my Twitterverse, Bruce. Howie in Canton. That's crazy. I don't know how many GMs have gotten into the Hall of Fame, if any. And I don't know what the criteria for those GMs to get into Canton were or are. Interesting. I like that comment, though. That is something I need to research after the show for sure. 98 more to 500. Yes, exactly, Duck. Let's go. We need this up. We are so close to 500 subscribers. Obviously, we're not going to hit the 1,000 that I promised. So the beard ain't going anywhere. Chin of knowledge is not coming out because I guarantee you guys won't get me to 1,000 by Super Bowl Sunday. But I think we could get to 500 subscribers by next Sunday. I really, truly do. What a narrative if BJ wins a little bit. Honestly, could you imagine that story? Has a career-ending injury, season-ending injury, and then comes back at the last game of the year, strip sack, fumble, recovery, Eagles win. Man, could you imagine that? There'd be Hallmark executives lining up for that story all over the place. It would be something, wouldn't it? Damn, that would be crazy. Even greater narrative. It would be a great narrative, man. It would be. 400s, yeah, let's go. The number just keeps going up. We're moving on up. We're moving on up. Phil ain't enough of a comic book nerd to get the analogy. Sorry. I miss things. I know my Batman and my Superman stuff. It just didn't make sense the way I read it out loud. I'm trying to read, I've read 88 comments here so far. Some things are hard for me to translate here on the screen. My mind's working a million times a minute here. A million miles a minute. All right? It's hard for me to comprehend every comment in this chat. I want to see if we can get BG in for one play. I want him to be in for one play, and I want him out there for the coin toss. The rest of it, I don't know if you'd want to take snaps away from Nolan Smith. I don't know if you'd want to take snaps away from Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat's going to get paid this offseason. I don't know if you want to take snaps away from Jalen Hunt. But one play would not hurt anything in the Super Bowl. Visit Buffalo, and they ask yourself again why players don't want to come. Look, you still got Sean McDermott as your head coach, and that's never going to work out for you. We have literally lost 10 front office execs in the last 2 years to other teams for GM or assistant GM positions throughout the league. Exactly. And obviously, the instant one that pops into my head is Joe Douglas, and he was a massive failure. Massive failure. Phil, I don't even know if any GMs are in Canton. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Before I make a tweet about it, I'm going to Google search it, and I'm going to find out unless someone in the chat finds out this information before the show ends. But if could you imagine Howie Roseman, who was banned in the equipment closet by Chip Kelly and Jeffrey Lurie, becomes the first GM in the Hall of Fame? Like, that's insane. Bill Belichick, yeah, he doesn't have a very good coaching tree. No. I don't think Andy Reid really has that great. I mean, he had a great coaching tree early on, like John Harbaugh Todd Bowles is one. These guys that left Ron Rivera was part of the Andy Reid tree. Early on, Andy Reid coaching tree was great. His Kansas City coaching tree has not gone so well. But just thoughts there. Take Phil, neighbor and friend in Chester County, BAM managers. What? Good morning, Todd. How you doing? I guess you're off that morning shift there. Good. Belichick is a fraud. I mean, he's got a lot of Super Bowl championships, so there's that. We need to harvest some bots. Yeah, go for it. I've got all the views, the hourly views. That's all I need is the subscribers now to turn the money on. Kellen Moore is taking it sucks that he probably is taking the Saints job. It sucks that we're going to have another new offense coordinator. It sucks that we'll have to have that conversation the week after the Super Bowl. Who's going to be our new OC? And I don't know why Kellen Moore would want the Saints job. I mean, I know it could be everybody wants that first head coaching job, but it's going to be such a bad head coaching position that he's lining up for a one and done instantly there in New Orleans. No cap space, no quarterback, not even no cap space, cap hell. They're going to have to cut players to get under the cap. I mean, it's just a disaster down there in New Orleans. He should do what Ben Johnson did and stay in Philly for another year. And then check out next coaching cycle. Seen a couple coaching candidates say, I don't want that job. I'm going to sit out a year and I'll get into next year's coaching cycle. Wasted career he really is. His only success came with Brady. I mean, you're saying that's saying Andy Reid's a fraud because his only success, his real success, only came once he got Patrick Mahomes. Ron Wolf is in the Hall of Fame. Okay. So I'm seeing some comments on the side screen, so we'll get to them. But there are GMs in the Hall of Fame. Moore will not work out. Saints job, dead end. Absolutely agree. Why would he want it? Shout out to Anthony. Always shout out to Anthony. Football Hall of Fame general managers include Tex Schramm, Al Davis, Bill Polian, Ron Wolf, Bob, all those names. So there are names in the GM. Okay. In the Hall of Fame. So is Howie Roseman a Hall of Fame executive? Will be a Twitter post I put up after the show today on Twitter. And then we will go over the results tomorrow on the show. And I think it's a fantastic comment by Bruce there, even suggesting that. What about Bam Margera from Jackass? Just because he lived in Westchester and so did I, did not mean we were best friends. I will tell you a side story. When I worked on cruise ships and everybody found out where I was from, like I would say I'm from Philadelphia, then they'd say where, and I'd say, oh, you must be partying all the time with Bam. No, Bam's an a-hole. He is a jackass. Why would I hang out with him? No. Yes, we did socialize in some of the same bars. But no, I did not hang out with him. I've been in bars with the entire Jackass crew before, and I avoided them. One time I even left the bar because I don't want all that circus around me. No, I do not know him. There's no information on general managers in the Hall of Fame, but there is 16 owners in the Hall of Fame. Okay? So there are executives in the Hall of Fame. There are at least 40 or so GMs. So we got one saying none. We got one saying 40. We're gonna get this information after the show. I'm going to clarify. I'll do my own stats and research. Reach coaching tree produced 2 Super Bowl head coaches in Harbaugh and Doug Peterson. Also, Todd Bowles, Spags are Super Bowl winning coordinators. It is. But all those names, just think about that though, Marshawn. You know, Harbaugh was like way early in his career. Doug Peterson was early in his career. Todd Bowles was early in his career under Andy Reid, then left. And Spags left, failed, then went back to Andy Reid. But yeah, it's very impressive. And Andy Reid was a Mike Holmgren coaching tree. And I want to say the Mike Holmgren coaching tree is a very stout tree as well, right? I want to say Andy Reid, McCarthy, quite a few guys came from the Mike Holmgren coaching tree, which all of them came from one of the San Francisco coaching trees. I was watching a Max show on him, and he was in Chester County by 5. Yeah, he doesn't live too far from us. Yeah, well, at least he did. Don't know where he is these days, what his life is like nowadays. Saints are like 58 million. I thought it was like 65, 70, but yeah. I mean, 58 million over the cap is a lot of money over the cap, K1. I mean, that's insane. Insane cap space that they got to clear just to get even, not to get under for draft picks. It's insane. I used to love Bam back in the day, would watch his skateboard videos. Yeah, his CKY videos. Another side story, when he had his own show, the Bam Margera show, whatever it was called, and the episode where they try to put post boards everywhere says, "Don't feed Phil," so don't feed his dad. And they would go around to all restaurants and film his dad trying to get food. They filmed one of the sketches of that episode in the pizza shop I worked in at the time. But I literally left 1 month prior. I was the GM of that restaurant. I left 1 month prior to go work on cruise ships. And the guy that took over for me got to be in the episode. It would have been me. Even that was my chance to be famous, right? I still can't stand the guy. Never could like him. Moore would be offered the Giants coaching position next year if Bills don't do well. He might get that offer too. Yeah, see, that's the thing. There's a chance that there's going to be some really good coaching opportunities next offseason. The Bills, the Giants, because they're going to have a top pick and a top quarterback, a young quarterback to develop. There are going to be coaching opportunities next year. There's always 6, 7, 8 every year. The Eagles are bringing back Shane Steichen. No, they're not. He didn't get fired. He's staying in Indy unless he got fired in the last 10 minutes. Mickey Loomis, GM since 2001, has a garbage roster and yet heavy cap jail. Yeah. I am so afraid that Nick will push to hire Frank Reich this offseason. Yeah, I saw somebody do a list of potential offensive coordinators for next year if Kellen Moore takes the job. And you know what's funny? Frank Reich was not on that list. But then like 37 comments, Anthony, underneath it all said, why isn't Frank Reich on this list? I don't know if Frank Reich's the answer or not. I always prefer somebody new, not somebody from the past. But Frank Reich is a solid offensive mind. I don't know if he'd be my first choice. I don't know who would be my first choice. I haven't really thought about it. I've seen all the names rumored, but I haven't thought about each one individually. It has to be someone with play calling experience. Frank Reich has that. Because you don't want Nick Sirianni back on the call sheet. You don't want him doing that. That's not where he thrives. Phil, you never let them hook a battery to your... No, I did not. Never would. There are 0 members of this chat in the Hall of Fame. Exactly. I like to think that I have a chance someday, but probably not. Is right. Frank Reich is a grump. Maybe not. I was at Cradle of Filth concert and Bam was hanging out at the bar and I sat next to him and had a beer and said hi. I could tell he didn't want to talk. Yeah, no. He had no offense. Yeah, he did not like to be bothered. Unless you're a woman in skimpy clothes or something like that. And that's just the plain old truth. Holmgren was in the Bill Walsh tree. That's right, Bill Walsh. I knew it was one of the San Francisco guys. I just couldn't remember if it was Bill Walsh or not. So the selection is the same as players. You get nominated and the committee votes for you to get in or not. Walsh was from the Paul Brown tree. We can just keep going. Paul Brown was from whose tree? It all comes down to Paul Brown. Yeah, probably. Everyone thought he was smart back in the day when pushing money down the line in New Orleans. See, the thing is, Howie Roseman pushes the money down the line, but yet he never gets in cap hell unless he's got to cut a quarterback or trade a quarterback and take a cap hit. 58 million over the cap. Ain't that Dak's cap hit? God, I think Dak's scheduled to make like 90 million, but it's like a $60 million cap hit. The Cowboys are going to be in cap hell too. I don't know why he'd want. That's why they got Schottenheimer the third, to coach that team. Because nobody wanted the Cowboys job. I think they probably wanted to keep McCarthy. McCarthy didn't want it. The Buffalo Bills coach is from Andy Reid coaching tree. Absolutely is. McDermott. And I think he should have been fired 2 years ago, and he's still there. Yes, and it's Todd Bowles is as well. How about Bobby Slowick as GM? You mean OC? Because Bobby Slowick was cut from Texans. He wasn't really given. He could have left and been a head coach after his first year, after C.J. Stroud's rookie year. Chose to stay in Houston, and then had a down year and got fired. Now there was a lot. I think it was a little bit of a crock that they fired him so quickly, because he did have a lot of injuries there. But it's the life of a coach in the NFL. Guys, you're watching Trend in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. There are over 20 people in the YouTube room right now. Make sure there's 20 likes on this video at least then. Make sure if you have not yet done it, you hit the subscribe and the share button. If everybody shared, all 20 people watching right now, shared it on one social media platform right now, that number could jump like that, guys. Let's go. Big Al is the Chuck E. Cheese. Never let that die. Never let that die, please. I beg you. I don't think being on an episode of Jackass makes you famous. I know it does. Probably makes you less than famous or something like that, for sure. Third best out of 32 is good enough in Buffalo. Even if I'm over McDermott, he is family to Pagula. He never going to go. You should let him go. You should let him go. Is Dak dumbest contract? I don't know. Pretty much every contract that they give out in Dallas is a bad contract, but that's okay by me. Yeah, OC. Yeah, no, it's okay. It's all good. You're good. I know you knew what you were talking about there. Cowboys seem like the GM ed by very young children. Basalk will be one of those guys who will come to Eagles to get that good year in and then leave. Exactly. And as long as the Eagles continue to win, as long as the Eagles continue to be a progressive and strong franchise year in and year out, our coaching tree is always going to be plucked. Doug Peterson's coaching tree was plucked a lot. Nick Sirianni's is being plucked a lot. For as much crap as Nick Sirianni gets, we're losing all our coordinators every single year. Except for last year, we lost them because we fired them all, but that's a different subject. Can never take it away from Big Al, the Chuck E. Cheese boxing champion of all time, reigning and defending all time. Oh my God. I gotta always sneak that free ad plug in there in the chat in the comments, right? You just got to, right? I want to make Chester County Hall of Fame. Is there a Chester County Hall of Fame? I hope not. I hope I'm never in that one. Slowly but surely, Maxie is learning how to help his team. We got a Sixers comment. My God, let's freak out. The Sixers have won 3 or 4 games in a row. The Sixers are going to trade for Jimmy Butler. The Sixers are trying to get into the chat. I'd rather talk about how on February 3rd, in just a few days, the equipment truck to Clearwater leaves Citizens Bank Park to go down to Clearwater. That's what, after the Super Bowl is over, we're talking baseball, not basketball. I refuse to let basketball be a headline. Refuse. Andy is smart to get older, smarter, and more adaptable coordinators who will stay. And that's what we got in Vic Fangio, Duck. And that's who I want our next offense coordinator when we lose Kellen Moore to be. An older veteran guy that's not looking for another job or might not get a job right away. That's what I'm looking for. I'm sure you do. Well, let's get that subscriber count up, even if it means bots, and let's get the ad reads back. But I got to have something to propose to companies to get their ads and their money. You think Jalen Hurts will get tired of having a new offense coordinator every year? I think he's already tired of it, Adam. I mean, I know I would be if you're being told something different every single year on how to play the position. Yeah, stop. And Anthony, no, we don't need Jimmy Butler. No. I don't want to talk about it, but no. Jimmy Butler's a cancer. Jimmy Butler wants out of Miami because he wants an extension. You're really going to bring in 36-year-old Jimmy Butler and give him an extension? No. I know getting Jimmy Butler would mean getting off of Paul George's 4-year contract. So you'd get 2 years of Butler for 4 years of Paul George. But no, that's not the answer. Are you? Yeah. Nooms is not entertained by our Eagles talk. Nooms is heartless when it comes to Eagles in the Super Bowl right now. Yeah, chef's kiss. Well, someday, somewhere, somehow. Big Al floats like a butterfly, stings like a bee when he's at Chucky. Yeah. When he walks in, I'm just picturing, what was the movie? Walking Tall with The Rock. He walks into the casino with his 2x4 and takes out all the security guards. That's what I see. I see Big Al walking in with a 2x4, and all 4 Chuck E. Cheese costume people come at him. The one that was on the floor and the 3 that were on break put their heads on, and they all attack Big Al. And Big Al takes them all out, pushes one in the slot machine, knocks the other one with the 2x4 over the head. Rock bottoms another one onto the skee ball machine. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why anybody would talk about that. Pitchers and catchers in month. I think it's first pitchers and catchers workout is the 13th or 14th. I know everybody's got the pitchers and catchers got to report by the 13th. A lot of them are down there already. The equipment leaves the 3rd. I know that. Shout out Clearwater. What? Oh, Clearwater, Florida. Yeah. There's no space in that, just so you know. I love Uncle Vic. We'll be teaching these guys for a little while. Exactly. Exactly. 100%. Baseball talk will not boost viewership. Well, there'll be a lot of Eagles talk, too. A lot of off-season talk as well. Sixers talk will tank the algo 1,000%. It already has. Why would we talk that? Eagles talk only. Should I just change it to an Eagles channel only? But baseball. Yeah, baseball is big to me. So you can see all the baseball stuff behind me, okay? You can see it, okay? If you could ask Andy Reid one single question, what would it be? For me, dude, why Juan Casillas DC? Yeah. I would ask, did Donovan McNabb really throw up? Since there's still no video proof of that. The numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. They don't. There will always be football on every show. Why does Harper want a pay raise and he still hasn't delivered us a championship? I mean, do we really want to have that conversation today? Because we could. We could, but I don't want to. I mean, he is the most underpaid player in baseball. Chip Kelly was incredible play calling for Ohio State this season. The offense was on fire during their title run. Maybe no. Don't jinx anything, Steven. We don't want Chip Kelly here. No. The Eagles' secret weapon cannot be stopped. Everyone has tried. Saquon. Todd, spot on. 100%. It's not a secret anymore. It's a pretty obvious weapon, and they see it coming, and they can't stop it. I do think the 76ers will trade for Jimmy because it is dumb, and they are dumb. Let's go Phillies. Go Birds. Go Phillies. Ring that bell, but not the Sixers. You know, Big Al, you know how we talk? We were talking about how we want to do away with dancing on the own, right? The Phillies song, right? I want to see the bell ringing done away with. I don't care about bricking for chicken or frosty freeze-outs. I don't care about alternate jerseys and the logo spectrum changes. I just want the Sixers team to be normal, and they're so far from it. Bob Myers, maybe he's the answer. I don't know. Nobody gives a shit about baseball till September. If that, I mean, that's a fair statement. I do, but no. Matty B is Mr. Negative when it comes to the Eagles this year. He said he's not into it this year. You cannot be an Eagles fan and not be into it, Adam. They are in the freaking Super Bowl. And I see all Matty B's titles and show titles and, you know, how he calls us righteous, bogus Eagles fans and homers because we're cheering on our Super Bowl team. Whatever. I will say Matty B did text me yesterday and I on Tuesday. And I thought that was, you know, me and him haven't always seen eye to eye on things. But I did really appreciate him texting me the other day when we had our loss in our family. William White, whom coined the phrase groupthink, Matt Ryan, Phil, and Bam are on. No, I am not on any Mount Rushmore. I need to do a show from Clearwater. I would love to do a show from Clearwater. Absolutely love to. That's right. Hit the like button, subscribe. We're at the hour mark of the show today. We need. There should be at least 20 likes on this video right now. At least 20, based off the people in the room. There should be more than 402 subscribers to this channel at this moment. So please, like and subscribe. It's free to do. It doesn't cost you a penny. And you click that share button. Doesn't cost you a penny. Good morning. The gatekeeper is here. We may begin. Good morning, Eric. Hope you are well today. They'll do a show from Clearwater. Watch out for Tom Cruise. I love it. Yes, if you guys don't know, the home of Scientology is in Clearwater. Not Clearwater Beach, Clearwater, the city. It's quite the building, too. Talk some sense into these fools. I think most of us have been pretty sensible today. Chip is going to be an NFL OC, I guess, with the Texans. I did hear the Texans rumors. Obviously, he has the connection with Ryans there, their head coach. You think Frank is the answer at OC? Like, I don't even care who the OC is next year at this point. I know everybody wants to talk about who the OC is going to be, but I don't care. I don't care who the OC is going to be. You know why? Because I'm focused on one thing, and one thing only, and that's winning a Super Bowl. That's the only thing that matters to me. We've got 20 likes on this video. There should be more. That we're only gained 1 subscriber today. So, guys, let's go. Shipley holding on the ball for dear life at the end of the long run reminds me of the chubby kid in Little Giants running, holding the football for dear life. Yeah. I mean, I love it because you see him licking his lips, and you see him look up at the screen to see where the defenders are behind him, and then he tucks the ball in. He was licking his lips. I'm glad they gave him the touchdown run. You can't win friends with baseball. You can't win friends with baseball. I can. Maybe they're the friends I want. I want a season where all our teams get a parade. I thought we were going to be there by now with the process where it was and stuff like that. Like, I really thought we would have gotten there by now, Duck. But that is so hard to do. It is so hard to do. No more washed players who think they're still in their prime. Not on this Eagles team. Not at all. Delusional, righteous Eagles fans. Like I said, the man texted me. And, guys, I want to shout out. Y'all gave me great comments at the end of the last show on Monday. Got a lot of comments and messages and DMs from a lot of you guys. It was a tough day on Tuesday, and it's been a tough couple days since Tuesday. We had to say goodbye to old man Al. Unfortunately, he came just 2 weeks shy of his 17th birthday. It's been very tough on my wife and I. He was my buddy. He would sit in the studio at my old house and watch me do shows, watch football with me. We adopted him at 12 and a half years old. He was a very, very bad shaped pup when we got him. We nursed him back. We got him healthy. We tried to give him the best possible 4.5 years of retirement as we could. Didn't think he was going to last 4.5 years, but he did. And he fought hard to stay with us as long as he could. But it was time. And I feel bad. It sucks losing him. Even though we got 3 other crazy dogs upstairs, the house is just definitely quieter. But I just want to say thank you to everybody that reached out, everyone that sent me messages, private messages, public messages in the show. I just want to give all the love to my wife because she's the trooper that takes care of these dogs and has the ideas of rescuing all these senior dogs. So, if you're ever looking for a place to donate money to, look up Philly Bully. It's a rescue in Philadelphia. They rescue dogs. They specialize in dogs that are in really bad shape and pit bulls as well. That's where we got old man Al. So just throwing that out there, Philly Bully. Tomorrow I'll remember to put their link to their website in the description of the show if you guys want to find them. But yeah, thank you all very much. But Matty B did send me a text message. I don't know if we like his football takes, but the man we do like, just so you know. I love to hate. Yeah, we all love to hate him. Yes, we're at 402. The goal is still 500 right now by the Super Bowl. I'd love to get there. I think we can get there. But yes. That hardcore play and rewind, that's Mitchie Pooh's 65th channel. Mitchie Pooh only has 1,000 subscribers and all the subscribers on his channels because he's got 97 burner channels to subscribe and like to all his videos. He's got 27 computer screens streaming at a time so that he gets all the views that he gets. That's the only reason why. The Salvador Dali Museum, I think, is still in Clearwater. I've honestly done very little in Clearwater. Most of what I do is on Clearwater Beach. The only thing I've ever done in Clearwater is drive through it, stop at the Phillies baseball complex, and go to Lenny's, the famous diner by the baseball complex. So, yeah, I don't know about Salvador Dali Museum or anything like that. I've driven by the Scientology building a few times, and that's it. Dumbing the game down, spreading it up, or speeding it up, and getting rid of veteran players is what destroyed the NBA because nobody's realistic about their basketball mortality. 100%. Yeah, exactly, Todd. 100%. Chip blows for Shady and Deshaun alone. We got 2 weeks off in order to play our best game of the season. Ball's out, and I want to see another 50 burger. That would be amazing. I think the best way or the easiest path to an Eagles victory in the Super Bowl is if we hang a big number on them. We blow them out. Then the rest can't change the tides of a game, if that's the case. How old was Al? He would have been 17 on February 13th. We got him in September of 2020 at 12 and a half years old. He would have been 17 in 2 weeks. We really wanted to get him there. Got to win him the Super Bowl. Got to win him the Super Bowl, guys. They are the best. They are the best. Philly Bully Team is great organization. My wife supports them and City of Elderly Love. Didn't hear that one. We've always worked with Philly Bully Team and NARPS, NARPS, for our rescues that we've taken care of and fostered. But yeah, Philly Bully team is fantastic, and it's great to know that your wife supports them as well, because they do fantastic work. And my life would, funny story on Old Man Al. Um, I didn't want him, and I don't want to sound heartless or anything when I said that. We had just lost our dog of 15 years, Decker, 3 weeks, and my wife's like, "Look at this dog. I think we should go get him." And I'm like, "Hon, I don't think I'm ready. We just lost Decker." And she's like, 2 minutes later, she was filling out the application for him. It's the best time ever. My wife was ever not agreeing and listening, not listening to my opinion. It's the best thing she ever did was not listen to me there. Just so you know. But thank you all, guys. Dude, go into Clearwater. Clearwater. I need time for vacation. I think I like to drink Clearwater. Yeah, me too. Salvador's Museum is in St. Pete's, also a great town for sure. I'm sticking to my word about the Sixers that they suck. Yeah, I agree. I would recommend going to the Dolly Museum. It's a great collection of many. I'm not really an art person, but yeah, maybe someday. Do it for real. Damn straight. Chip Kelly did blow as a head coach, as an OC in the NFL style offense. The Ohio State, he evolved his play calling. Was he still running plays every 17 seconds there? Aim for 70 because you know the ref's going to call back 2 touchdowns. Yeah. Aim for 70, hope for 50, and then we get the win, right? He had our 4 parade chants in 80, but Leon Stickle, Magic Johnson, Cliff Branch had other ideas. There's a circus museum a tad south of Clearwater. Are there a lot of clowns in it? What's up, Rick? Says Nick Wright talking shit on the Eagles again yesterday, saying there's no way that Saquon goes off on the Chiefs, which means yeah. Look, Nick Wright is just an idiot. He's Nick wrong. He's not right ever. Nick Wright is he's gone to the school of clickbait, and that's all he cares about is clickbait. 100%. 100%. Yeah, she definitely did. I said no. 10 minutes later, she's filling out the application. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm filling out the application for Al. I'm like, all right. And then I went to go meet him, and he came right up to me, not my wife, and licked my leg first before he even went to her. And yeah, I was hooked. I was hooked pretty quickly on that man. We waited 9 months after death for our first pet to get it. Yeah, it was. I wasn't ready, but Big Al fixed it. And now I got 3 more. But still try to give the love to Al, or to Penelope and Louie and Lucy. But man, it's different without Al around. And I do worry, and I'm too concerned about Penelope because our house is split in 2. Louie and Lucy live on one side of the house. Penelope and Al lived on the other house. We had they're like 2 different married couples, and they can't really mix. Well, Penelope now has one less person in her apartment, and she used to share a bed with him, and now she's living in that bed by herself. I hope she's okay. I hope she handles it okay. The only guy that art people complain is Too Smoothie. I don't care about art. I just really am not an art person. Saquon runs wild on the Chiefs for 200 total yards and 2 touchdowns. I've already placed my 2 touchdown bet on Saquon Barkley for the Super Bowl. He's done it 2 straight games. Why not a 3rd straight game? There's no reason to stop running the football now, right? But I've already bet plus 350 or plus 320, whatever it was, on Saquon to score 2 touchdowns. Easiest bet in the world to make. 60 yards to break the all-time. No, I think it's less than that. I got it here, Nooms. I had the number written down somewhere. Saquon, or you're saying all-purpose? Okay, so I'm just talking running backs. I don't know if there's other people with more, but the running back record rushing and receiving yards in one season, counting the playoffs, is Terrell Davis, 1998, 2,476 yards. Saquon's at 2,447, 29 short. That's the research I did. Moore has to really think if he wants to walk into a cluster of an organization like the Saints instead of sticking around. Absolutely agree. What's more important, trying to win championships or coaching a dreadful team and then getting fired and having to start all over again? Nick Wrong is the love spawn of Skip Bayless and Marcus Hayes. Yeah, probably. Wouldn't be shocked. We had 2 older dogs pass within 18 months and took a year before we got our dog Rex. They told us he was 4. He's like 1.5. Yeah. So you're still in the puppy stage then. When we rescued our hound dog, I thought we were getting a dog for our kids. Turned out I got a best. That's the way it works. That's the way it works. That is the way it works. Barkley is getting the whole single season record. Absolutely agree. 29 yards to get it. Jalen Hurts 3 touchdown passes and Saquon Barkley 2 rushes. How about that? How about that? I'm not making light of your loss, but I'm listening to this at work, and one of the young girls you think I passed away. Even though she's looking right at you, right? Yeah. Yeah. But you're not. It's funny because no, you're Big Al. He was old man Al. Okay? Big difference there. Old man Al and Big Al. I mean, you are an old man, Big Al, but you're not old man Al. All right? It's like old man Logan. You got to be able to differentiate there. Absolutely, 100%. Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. It's kind of funny and crazy, guys. Anyway, guys, where are we at now? We got how many people in the YouTube room? We're up to 22 people. There should be 22 likes at a minimum. Hopefully, we gain more than one subscriber on the show. But please like the video, subscribe, and share. We're talking about Harry. Let's bring this back full picture to the start of the show. Howie Roseman. Let's bring up, Bruce's comment. Howie Roseman. Is he a Hall of Fame executive? Does a second Super Bowl guarantee he's a Hall of Fame executive when his career is over or already? That's the question. We're giving him his flowers. We're giving him his appreciation. We're telling people that Howie Roseman does it better than everybody else. Did you hear that Barkley got to talking to Swift, his advice to Barkley, never fall on the 1 yard line 2 or longer. I didn't hear that. So we're still at 402 subscribers. So we only gained 1 new subscriber today. That's okay. That's fine. We gained 1. I'd like to gain 5 or 10, but 1 is better than none. I guess I'll look at it positive. We are over 400. We're only in the 4th month of this STT Sports Network, so I'll take that. We all know why. Tush push, of course. Frank Reich is too old to get another head coaching job. I don't know if he's too old to get another head coaching job, but I think he needs to be an offense coordinator for a good 2 to 3 years stretch of success before he gets another chance, because of the next comment from Duck here isn't very innovative. He's very stuck in his old ways. Frank Reich needs to prove that he's evolved to become a head coach again. And he's going to need to evolve with another team. The problem is, do you bring in Frank Reich and his stubborn ways into a young, innovative team like the Eagles that's already there? Frank Reich is a Super Bowl winning OC, would sign him as an OC in a second. Maybe. I don't know about in a second. I'd have to see all my options. Yeah, I'm talking rushing and receiving as well. Maybe I got the wrong numbers, but I got them from one of the Eagles beat reporters, put it out there, and that's where I wrote it down from. Maybe one of us is wrong here. I'll double check after the show the numbers, but I had the numbers slightly different than you. That's all. Frank is not a head coach. He is stuck. Did he even work on a team this year? I don't even know. Talking about head coaches being too old. Pete Carroll's the next coach. Yeah, I don't understand what the Raiders are doing. All these great young coaches out there, great minds, and you go back to Pete Carroll. Look, Pete Carroll, I think, is a little underappreciated. I mean, he did turn Seattle into the Legion of Boom. He did win them a Super Bowl. He did get them to the Super Bowl multiple times. I think Pete Carroll's a solid coach. But again, I don't think coaching in the NFL is a young man's game anymore. Especially stubborn veteran coaches that have been doing it for so long. Frank Reich talented with those failed Buffalo teams. Obtain it with those failed Buffalo teams. I'm trying to rehome our rescue Bailey. Been trying to find her a home since December. I'm afraid to relinquish her because of what they'll do. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, we've got 2 Louie and Lucy who we fostered for over a year, and basically they're like, keep them or we're going to have to put them down because nobody wants them because they're just completely psycho. And they are. But they're good dogs in their own scenario, in their own situation. They just had a rough life, so I guess we'll keep them forever. Did not coach. Surprise Saints don't beg. Yeah. Phil has the rushing yards. Newman's all around yards. I thought I had the rushing yards. I wrote it down as all around yards, just so you know. I wrote it down as all around yards. Maybe I misread it, or whoever I got it from. I forget which reporter put it out there on Monday. I either wrote it down wrong or they had it wrong. Raiders are dead end. I don't know. I think the Raiders would be less of a dead end than the Saints, honestly. Andy Reid ain't young, and his offense is just fine. Age has nothing to do with it, in my humble opinion. Because Andy Reid's willing to adapt and change. Not all coaches are willing to adapt and change at all. Andy isn't running the offense like he used to. He's not. He lets his offense coordinators do a lot of that. Frank was okay with luck. The league, you need to be vulnerable and catch trends ahead of time. That's what the Eagles do. That's what we've been talking about with the Eagles all the time. There was a time in the very beginning I was pre-recording a show. Pre-recording a show. And Old Man Al, when we first got him, had a gas issue, we'll say. We even got him pills. They were like potpourri pills to make his farts smell better. And this was in the very beginning. He's sitting in the office with me, the old office with the jerseys hanging. You guys remember it. And he farted so bad I actually threw up in the middle of a stream. It was a pre-recorded stream. So we were able to edit that out. Like literally, it was so bad. He had such bad gas, that boy. It got better with time. Pete Carroll is the UB Brown of football. Yeah, maybe. Let's talk about Joel Embiid doing handstands. No, let's not. I'm not talking Sixers. I'm not. You could do really well with that. Yeah. Would you rather have Pete Carroll or Nick Sirianni? Come on now. Why is that even a question, Adam? Andy's OC has taken a lot of the off his plate. He gets into the planning and then releases it to his OC on game day. Kind of like Nick Sirianni a little bit. I thought Frank was the architect of Sirianni offensive philosophy. I know he got Nick hired in Philly. He did. And there is a connection there. And I guarantee if Kellen Moore takes the Saints job, Frank Reich will be on the front list of names on Nick Sirianni's list. I know it. I'm not sure he's the right answer, mister. But I know he'll be on the list of candidates. Yeah, I don't think it's a question. It's not. Davis in 98, 2022. Okay. And you're counting playoffs and regular season, right? Yeah, I just must have gotten it wrong. So I had 24-76. So must have just copied it wrong or whoever else had it wrong. I'm not questioning you, Nooms. I'm just saying what I got. Just what I got. The comparisons of our D lines from prior Super Bowls to this one is mind-boggling in the age difference. Yeah. Youth wins too, right? You fart so bad you almost throw. Literally. He isn't Bill and Cat. I don't want to talk about him. I don't. Wasted career, great content. Yeah, absolutely. You watching? I'll probably have it on. Depends on what time I get home from work on Saturday night. But yes, I will probably have it on. The Royal Rumble itself, even if I don't watch wrestling, I like the Royal Rumble better than anything on WrestleMania on a normal basis. I just love the fun of it, the nostalgic parts of it, and that kind of stuff. I think it's pretty locked. It's going to be CM Punk that wins it. FYI, I'll give my Royal Rumble prediction tomorrow. How about that? Love this guy. I love all of you guys. Please like and subscribe and share. Please, I ask all of you. With no football this week, everyone should be locked into Pebble Beach Pro-Am, Cantley, and Morikawa. Big weeks. Now, JT and JT and Cantley. Big weeks. Exactly. Reich is the architect of Sirianni's philosophy we know wasn't great. That's true. Could use a bit more stream show talk, but can't have it all. You can't have it all. Nah, man. Benny on is him. No, he is not. WWE, no thanks. Yeah, look, I'm not a WWE fan. I don't watch wrestling much anymore. It's on in the background occasionally. Whatever. But the Royal Rumble is always pretty cool to me. It is. I like the surprise. Yeah, exactly. I know there'll be an I Believe in Joe Hendry announcement. Of course, Joe Hendry's going to be there. Of course. The Rock may be there. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that'll be a surprise. Maybe it's 30 entrances. And then as whoever's left in the ring wins, out comes The Rock and says, as the boss CEO, the final boss, I'm making this a 31-man Royal Rumble. And he walks in the ring and throws the winner over the rope and becomes the winner. Maybe that's what happens. I don't know. What can carry me over after bowl until UFL? The NFL draft? Because I'm not watching no UFL. Guys, are you guys as worried as me? And as soon as the Super Bowl ends, all Josh Allen's wasted career is going to want to talk about is the UFL. Because I don't want to hear my comments being spammed with UFL chat again. It's on Peacock. Rick, thank you. We're getting to the wrap-up process of this show here soon. Phil, do you ever dream about golf? I dream about how bad my golf game is. I dream about some of the amazing courses around the world I've played on. I don't dream about PGA Tour. We'll be doing a guest spot on another podcast this weekend, talking just PGA Tour in general. I'm going to talk about how bad the game is as a whole right now. I watch wrestling for humor. It's too serious now. Yeah, it's just, it just doesn't excite me. There's not one storyline in wrestling that excites me. No, UFL sucks. UFL's boring. Nobody wants to talk about the UFL. Maybe I will have it in background. Go for it. Knock yourself out. But I ain't talking about the UFL. There ain't no chance. As soon as the Super Bowl ends, we're going to recap the Super Bowl for weeks. We're going to talk the Eagles off season for weeks. We're going to talk draft stuff for weeks. We'll mix in baseball. We might talk about the Sixers for 3 minutes here or there over the course of the next couple of months, but that's it. We will pound the table for the hashtag fire Daryl Morey, but that's about it. Right to turn Hurts into Phillip Rivers 2.0. That would be bad. We don't want him to be Phillip Rivers 2.0. Phillip Rivers didn't win a damn thing outside of the regular season. That's debatable. Debatable. It could be blowing up. I don't care. Joe Henry wins. No, he doesn't, but it would be pretty funny. Thank you, Mitch. Yes, thank you, Mitch. Let's talk about the new WNBA 3-on-3 basketball league. It's actually pretty good. I didn't even know there was a WNBA 3-on-3 league. Had no idea, but pretty cool. Look, we'll be getting a Philly team here in the next couple of years. That'll be pretty awesome, too. Rumble in the background. Gotcha. I'll have it on. It's just fun. 4-3. So we gained 2 subscribers today. Yes. Go subscriber count. Let's go. I really thought today would have been that day. We had a big bump. Maybe tomorrow the day we haven't had one of those days where we gain like 15 subscribers in a while. I thought today was going to be that day. Maybe it's going to be tomorrow. I got a title. I got a clickbait title ready to go for tomorrow. Okay? I do. And that might get people, the casuals, to find the channel. That'll be the goal. Clickbait tomorrow to gain the casuals. Maxi, Bona, Oubre, and Edwards may have you talking more Sixers than you think. No. Trade Kelly Oubre immediately. Get him. Get value while you can. Trade Yabusele immediately while you can get value out of him. I know you're not going to tank for first place for one of your draft picks, but I could care less. I do not want Daryl Morey making a single decision the rest of the year. After Super Bowl, I'm definitely locked in on the Phillies. Me too, Jose. Can't wait. Carlos Estevez, we lost him too. I don't know who's going to be the closer next year. Maybe Alvarado. Alvarado looks like he's ripped and in great shape. Yeah, I didn't know there was a 3-on-3 league either. Please take this question seriously. Is there any Eagles player or backup quarterback, anything that you would watch UFL? I'm sorry, I don't understand the question, though. Is there any Eagles player or backup quarterback, anything that you would watch UFL? There's no Eagles on the UFL. There's no Eagles that came from the UFL that I'm aware of. And there's nobody on the Eagles that we need to replace with someone from the UFL. So I don't understand your question, but that's just my answer. 66 more? Okay, let's keep it going. Yes, exactly. Justin Edwards is a Philly native and he got game. Yeah, I hear a lot of people talking about him, but again, he's a two-way player getting playing time on a bad basketball team. It's the same thing we thought Tony Roten was really good or Hollis Thompson was good or whatnot. We get hyped about bad players putting up stats on bad teams. Justin Edwards would be riding the pine on the top 10 teams on the NBA right now. Not too serious. They don't take themselves seriously. Everything WWE is a catchphrase crowd. Yeah, it's all about sing-alongs now. After Super Bowl, I'm calling. Yeah, okay, go for it. You do that. I'll give you 10% of the ad rate. Okay. He is asking if there's a player that would make you watch the UFL. No, I'm not watching second-rate football. Jalen Hurts goes over there, it'd still be a second-rate product overall. NBA is a shit product. I agree. I have no desire to watch any NBA games. I give props to Mitchie Poo. He's always live streaming, not just Sixers games, all basketball games. And it's crazy. He's the rule. If the Sixers aren't over 500, we don't talk about them. Look, we can talk about how bad they are, but that's about it. If there was like a practice squad or backup that if went to UFL under their players to NFL agreement, no, I wouldn't. I'm not going to watch a practice squad Eagle getting reps in the UFL. Not. Triple H is the headliner. I heard that. That's good for him. Good for him. Well deserved. One of the best of all time. They're over 500 since the crap start. They're a pretty bad basketball team. All right. I don't care. I actually turned it on for like 5 minutes last night. And I know they won, but I just 5 minutes. I was like, what am I doing here? UFL, among other agreements with NFL, lets players out of contracts to go to NFL and return if want. I know. I don't talk about it, but I know. It's kind of on Unrivaled. Check it out. It fits the women's athletic level better with the smaller court. Interesting. And they're all WNBA players. That's interesting. Try to find it. Yeah, exactly. It's probably online somewhere. Don't hit me. I'm just telling you. Nothing would change that. Why watch the UFL? I have college, which is better in hockey. Yeah, look, there's so many other things to watch other than second-rate football, honestly. Okay, here's the post-Super Bowl script. Sixers suck. Now here's the Masters pairings. Exactly. I mean, the first week in April will be here before. Yeah, Pump Man's quiet. Pump Man's quiet because he knows Jalen Hurts he's going to have to say something nice about Jalen Hurts soon. He knows it. He's looking for clickbait content channels to go bash him. He's probably in Silly Man's comments, bashing him right now. I see you guys in other chats. I keep my mouth shut, but I see you guys in other chats. I do. All right, guys, we got to wrap this show up. We got to start the process here. I find the UFL players give 100% each other. That's fine. It's still second-ranked product, okay? It's not high-level football. That's the only problem. I'm not a huge college basketball fan anymore, but, I mean, it's okay. Yeah, he's hiding. He is hiding, but it's okay. Let him hide. Let him do his thing. After the Eagles won the Super Bowl, no Philly team lost for almost 3 weeks. Well, that would be something. That would get everybody in. Respect the script. Is the UFL scripted like the NFL? I'm curious. Fun fact, one of the first in-studio guests was Fred X and his cousin. He hate me from the XFL. I remember he hate me. I remember the original XFL and how they tried so hard to make that a big deal. Go Birds. Yeah, grease those poles up. Better grease the poles up. Unfortunately, sad story. Honestly, that fan that fell off that pole in Philly did pass away, unfortunately. That's a damn shame. I'm not jealous. I like to watch it. I watch a lot of content creators. 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, a lot. I get ideas. I like to see the competition. I like sports talk. I'm watching. I just can't always comment. It's always on. Edwards isn't afraid of anyone on the court. He's our basketball version. No, he's not. Stop. He's not that great. That's right. Go Scotty Scheffler. 100%. Shout out. He hate me and smart. Yeah, absolutely. So you should have a movie podcast on the horse. No. You want me to work on your channel instead of just building my own channel. Ain't happening. If I do a movie show, it's going to be right here on the STT Sports Network, okay? And Brian still wants to do one. We just haven't planned it out yet. Bring team plays back, bring defense back, and cut the season down to 70 games. Make the playoffs best of 5 until the finals. Yeah? Bring it to just the top 8 again. I hate the play-in rounds. Actually follow through with canceling flopping in the NBA. There's got to be a lot of ways to make it better, but whatever. The best running back in draft was the Buccaneers running back. Bad running back draft. Yeah, I don't know. I may cheat on you, Phil, but I always come home. Absolutely. You always got to come home to the best. That's what it matters. Go Birds. Beat the Chiefs. That's right. Tomorrow, we'll have an interesting topic tomorrow, guys. But we're going to wrap this show up for the day here. Everybody have a great Thursday. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, 8 o'clock. Let's have that big bump in subscribership tomorrow. That's the goal. Everybody have a great day. Adrian. Yeah, there you go. There you go. With that being said, as we end every show, it's very simple, guys. Like, share, subscribe. It's free to do. Go Birds. And bubbles up.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, pop.